Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about this lower strap here that I've been experimenting with on the heater shield, okay? Now the reason why I've been doing this is because I've been trying to find a good way to block my lower legs, okay? Because here's the thing, if I take this strapping position here, I can only drop that corner point that far, right? Just below my knee, right? That's as far as I can go without squatting down any further. However, if I switch to this position, you can see how I can drop my arm down a little bit more, and I can get down at least another 6 inches lower, and I can control that point a little bit better where I can bring it out and cut angles. And then I can bring this corner up to block my head, right? And I can also double up with the sword blocks here. So if you haven't seen them, go back and watch the last couple of videos. Now, with the more traditional strapping like this, the way we typically block our lower legs was with distance. Okay, so the idea here is from this position here, okay, I can hit the head, I can hit the head there, I can hit the hips there. I can't hit his legs, he can't hit my legs, okay? So the defense that we were using is distance. Now, here's the thing, this is a battle shield, right? These are the type of weapons that you'll usually find on a battlefield. You don't walk around towns and cities with a big shield like this. So here's the thing, put this down for a second. If you're on a battlefield, there's a good chance that you're gonna run into a weapon like this, which has a little bit more range, all right? So from here, he can hit your head, he can hit your legs like that, right? He can actually really stretch out because he's got that range, come up, block his head from any incoming shots, come around, hit there, right? So, so with a pole arm like this, somebody has the ability to hit your lower legs. So distance is not going to defend your lower legs. Now, even if you're matching up against other shields, okay, it might be your job to hold your place in line. Okay, likewise. It might be somebody else's job to come and take your position. So in that case, you're going to end up going belly to belly with people. So you have to be able to defend your lower legs. Okay. So that's why I started experimenting with other ways to block your lower legs besides just distance. Okay. Now the other thing is on one-on-one fighting, there's also an advantage where if I can block my lower legs, but I know that my opponent can't with any other means other than distance, then I know that I have the advantage in fighting him close, right? Because I can hit his lower legs, he can't hit mine. That's the range that I would want to fight him in, right? If I know I can block my lower legs, but he can't, there's no reason why I wouldn't want to press that advantage. Okay. So let's put this down for a second, and let's talk about the first fighting videos that I posted. I was using a sword like this, right? This is the more typical, HEMA type of sword, the cut and thrust type of sword, a fencing sword, which is tapered, right? So this type of a sword, because it's a tapered blade, right? It doesn't hit that hard, right? There's just not enough mass on the blade. And usually when we're fighting with swords like this, we're doing completely unarmored combat, so we're not hitting that hard. So basically that's as hard as we're hitting. So when I'm here and I'm fighting and I'm taking shots to that top corner, I had no problem, blocking shots to my head with that corner against a sword like this. Okay, the problem becomes when you come up against a heavier sword like this. Okay, this sword has more mass. You can see how it moves that wood a lot more, right? And then there's also the possibility on the battlefield you're going to end up with a Type X sword like this, right? Okay, you can see how that's moving the wood a lot more, right? Okay, so that's going to move it. I'm trying to get it in such a way where it doesn't cut into it and it just moves it, right? So you can see in that position like that, you can see how that moves the wood. Because on the battlefield, basically, people are not going to be completely unarmored. They usually, at the minimum, they're going to be wearing some leather. They could be wearing some mail, the most common types of armor throughout history. So it's more likely that you're going to run up against a sword that has a little bit more blade mass on it compared to a sword like this. All right, so when I did the first video that I posted, I was fighting against somebody that had a sword like this, and they were throwing shots up here, and yeah, no problem, I could block those shots. Now in the last couple of videos, I was fighting at a practice where we were using a sword like this. So here's the thing: this sword's made out of rattan. It has a steel basket here, which acts as a counterweight. Right. So let's compare it to this sword over here, right? Because I built this training sword to simulate this Type 14X. Let me bring you up here to the table where I have a scale, and we'll compare these two types of swords. All right, so let's get this. First of all, let's look at the length. We got these two swords here. They're about the same length, okay? About the same length. And let's put this one on the scale. Make sure that we got good positioning there. There we go. So we got 2 pounds, 10 ounces, okay? 2 pounds, 10 ounces. Let's throw this one on there. Make sure it doesn't stick. Okay, great. So we got 2 pounds, 12 ounces, okay? So this is basically just 2 ounces heavier. 2 pounds, 10 ounces, 2 pounds, 12 ounces, okay? If we look at the balance point, this one balances right about there, right? I'm gripping it down here. So it's about, I don't know, about 5 inches down the blade, right? So versus this one over here. Get you here. All right, so it's balancing right about there. So if I put my hand here, all right, so same deal. It's about about 5 inches down the blade. So it's about the same, right? Hands back here, balance points up here. Compared to this sword over here, move you a little bit, right? So they're balancing at about the same place, okay? And that's important because that's what allows this to rotate over. Okay, same thing here. This pommel acts as a counterweight. That's what allows this to rotate over, whereas this has a basket over here, which again, now this acts as a counterweight that allows this to rotate over, okay? So let me pull this camera back a little bit. So we got these two swords here. They're about the same length. They're about the same weight, right? And they balance about the same, okay? Oh, by the way, if you look at these weapons, they also have an edge. I'll show it to you on this one because it's more clear, right? You see how I've shaved down the sides of this wood over here to give it an edge? That's what allows me, like when I strike, I know where my edge is because it's flat, you know, it's more flat on one side as opposed to being round. I've done the same with this. The sides are flattened, are basically shaved down, so it has an edge, which you can't see it so well with the tape in the camera, but you can tell clearly with the handle. You can see how that handle's been, you know, how that handle's been shaved down. And again, this is what allows me to tell where my edge is. Okay, the fact that it's shaved down on the sides and the handle is shaved down like a real sword. Okay. So going back to this, in the traditional grip like this, right, really strong up on top. If you watch my fighting videos, if I'm getting hit in that corner over there, not a problem. This is solid. If I get hit here, yeah, this wants to come in, but then the way you fight this, it's here. If you get here, it's just going to bring that into your, you know, basically into your leg. So you got 3 points of control here, right? You got your arm going across here, and you can bring this in, brace it against your leg. So you got arm up here, legs down there, bracing it, okay? And if you really needed to, you can also put your hand, like if you're going to do like a shield push where you're pushing, you can also put your hilt or your pommel against this and push. So if you take this position here, where your hand is over here, the problem is when this gets hit here, you can see how this wants to rotate. That becomes very unsolid. And if I bring this in to kind of block my leg, and my whole head is covered. I mean, now if I bring this up against my leg, I'm now in a position where I can only sword block my head. Whereas here, I can sword block, I can use that corner to block my head. And if there is a leg shot coming down, I can bring it in against my leg. Whereas here, I mean, I basically want to do, I gotta bring this up against my head. I mean, that's not something you want to do. You don't want, it's one thing for the shield to get hit really hard and transfer that power into your leg, versus the shield getting really hard and transferring that power into your head. Even with a helmet, you would prefer not to do that. So that's the problem with this strap like this. Okay, when I get hit really hard like this, it wants to rotate along the arm. Okay, it wants to rotate, and if you hit this back edge over here, that's going to make it want to rotate like that. And I really don't have very good control over this. And here's the thing: if you look at the videos, even though we do allow for grappling at this practice, we didn't get into any grappling, because if somebody just takes their pommel and hooks here and pulls this out, right, and just pulls this out, I basically have no shield. All right, it's really easy for somebody to rotate this out. Whereas if I'm here and somebody's pulling here, I have a little bit more force to pull back. I can fight them, a little bit better with my arm over here. So I am pretty much back at the point of, how do you block that low leg? Because this, it has that weakness where that head, this corner is going to rotate in, and the shield just becomes too unstable. Here I have a lot more stability, but I can't block any lower than my knee. What I'm thinking of trying next is, rather than going diagonal here, I'm thinking of going horizontal like that. Horizontal, because in that horizontal position, I have that corner strength up there. Horizontally, I can bring that corner down to block my leg. Okay, and then I can, if somebody's going for my leg, I can drop that corner. I can still sword block my head in case they come up, and then quickly bring that corner up. And if somebody pulls on this, I have strength in that corner. Okay, if they try to beat hard into my leg, because here's the thing, your leg sticks out. So if I'm here and somebody's going for my leg, I can kind of brace that against my leg. I can't really. If I switch this up where I'm here, okay, I can't bring my head out the same way like this to brace. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense, right? I can't bring my head out to brace that corner, so I'm left with all this instability. So that's what I'm going to try. So for me, this is not working. Okay, there's only one historical shield that we have found that has these straps over here, and I can see it working in some situations, but definitely not, in a situation where you're being hit hard. Okay. Which is a battlefield type of situation. This is a much more stronger position, all right? But the problem is that I can't get the shield low enough. If I try it here, I can get the shield low enough, bring up the corner, have that strength over there. The weakness of this, and I can feel it already, is now I gotta bring my arm a lot higher up in order to block. So that's gonna be a lot more tiring. So let me know what you guys think. Drop some comments below. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll talk to you all soon.